And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker. And what is up, everybody? It's your boy Ben Goosen. I am back. You can see the merch behind me. I'm in the Closet Dome, the Ben Goosen Closet Dome. But you know who's not in the Closet Dome? My boy, Sage DeMark. What up, Sage?
What up, Goose? I feel like I'm in the closet, but not that closet.
Are you trapped?
I ain't trapped in the closet, bro. I'm still in episode 3.
Man, you know what? It's been 2 weeks since we had the show. We had a little hiatus last week, busy week. I was in the midst of a move that I text Sage DeMark about last. What I text you? I text you Saturday. Moved into this apartment. Go outside to see a little visitor with some antenna staring at me in the window. Roach outside. So I'm like, F this. I'm going inside, do some laundry, wake up the next morning, water all over the floor. There's a leak. Call maintenance. They don't come fix it, so I had to fix it myself. It was a rough moving up front. It was a real rough moving.
No, it reminds me of
what?
You ever see? I think it was like the early 90s, probably 93, 94-ish. MTV used to have this show called Joe's Apartment. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he had all the roaches, and he would bring girls over. Yeah, the roaches were his friend.
Yeah, I think how'd it go? Baby, I got the love. Oh, baby, I got the power. Come on, girl, and rock my world and play that funky music. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Jenny's got the love. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The baby's got the love. That was the jam.
Yeah, that's how it went. Do you remember an old MTV show? They were doing animation for a bit called, I think it was called
Aeon Flux.
No, close. The Max?
Yeah, the Max. It was Joe's Apartment, Aeon Flux, and then the Max.
Was the Max with the dude, the purple guy who lived in the guy's head? Or was that the Max, the superhero, purple superhero guy?
Oh, man. I think, was it the Max was the, I always get the Max and the Tick always mixed up.
The Max,
yeah, I think the
was the big buff superhero dude.
Yes.
What was the name of the show with that dude who had the alien living in his head?
Oh, man. What was it? I can't remember, man. I can't remember at all. But you know what? If y'all remember, y'all listen to this podcast and y'all remember, y'all hit us up and let us know. Maybe we get a little prize going for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Right?
Yeah, that's throwback, man. I remember that, man. Like, I remember I used to sneak to watch that, like Aeon Flux. Yeah, I was kind of neurotic, man.
So did the movie do it justice? Because I never got into the Aeon Flux cartoon.
Nah, man. All I remember was it was constantly, kids, close your ears. It was constantly up. That's all I remember.
Man. So in the past 2 weeks, we don't have to go into like the super details, but we didn't get to talk about it too much on text. We texted about it briefly. Can we confirm Drake lost?
I got mixed feelings about that, man. I do. It was definitely an L, but I think it was a super low blow, bruh. Like an uncalled for low blow, and kind of a lot of misinformation about what Pusha T said about Drake, man. Um, like if we knew anything about rap battles, if there's one thing that we know about rap battles, that no matter how bad it gets, you never talk about a person's kid ever. And you don't talk about their mom. I mean, everything else is fair game. Wives, girlfriends, that's all fair game, man. But you gotta leave the kids out of it, bruh. And that whole blackface thing, man, that was pretty wrong. One, because it was taken out of context, and two, like you're not really hurting him, but you're hurting the community. Like the black community is already divided as it is. Why are you gonna go and make it worse? It only makes you look like a chump. So honestly, I think Pusha T got just as much as an L for that last bit than Drake did. So
Okay, hence the beef being over.
exactly.
I thought Pusha. I'm of the view of he didn't talk about he brought the kid into it, but he didn't talk about the kid. He talked about an absent dad.
Yeah, but again, that was misinformation, bro. Like we both know the situation when it comes to like what true deadbeat dads are. The deadbeat dad is not someone who is paying for their kids' birthdays and parties and sees them on weekends. And if they don't have custody of them, they're still paying child support. Like that's not a deadbeat dad. Deadbeat dad is someone who doesn't take care of their responsibilities, period.
Yeah, long gone.
Yeah, long gone. We don't know if there was a custody agreement in place. Like this girl was like, I'm pretty sure there was some type of NDA in place. Hence the reason why we didn't know Drake had a kid. I'm pretty sure there was some type of NDA in place, or maybe there's DNA testing and all that kind of stuff that was still on the back burner. I think that's what was kind of alleged. But like the kid, like you brought the kid in it by saying who his name was, period. And that to me, that's a no-go zone, bro. That's how people get killed, man. I'm just saying, man.
For less. If you look at Pac and Big.
Yeah, exactly, man. So yeah, as far as rap goes, Drake may have taken a loss, but Pusha T took just as much a loss on it, and I think that's the reason why you don't hear him bragging about it. So
great way to put it. You mentioned NDAs. NDAs, I assume you're talking about a contract, right?
That's what I'm talking about, man.
So I want to ask you about contracts, NDAs, copyright, patent infringement. Let's get into discrimination and contracts. They breach, you go to court. Discrimination, you go to court. CM Punk and Colt Cabana were found free today.
Man.
Free CM Punk. Free CM Punk. Free CM Punk.
I was going to name this podcast like judiciary something or pardon something, because like the last 2 weeks it's just been legal after legal after legal, because this isn't the last legal thing that we're about to talk about. But yeah, I'm happy that this is behind everybody. And I like the way that the judge framed things, and the reason why this got dismissed, which was you can't seek damages if there are no damages. Yeah, well, there's no damages because you're still employed. So whatever was said didn't harm you. Like if you got fired as a result, or you couldn't find another job as a result, that's where you would be able to seek damages. But like there was just it was.
Yeah, that's what me and you do for a living, is we look into contractual stuff and damages. That's the thing, is you sued, but you didn't lose your job. Hell, I'm willing to bet in the past, this happened officially, I think 2014, in the past 4 years.
2 years. It was 2 years ago, I think. 3 years ago, but the lawsuit happened. No, about 3 years.
Okay.
I think it was 3 years.
I'm pretty sure this dude's gotten at least a pay raise, just your typical year-to-year bump or whatever the case may be, restructured contract.
Yep.
You're not losing clients. You haven't lose. There's no loss. You haven't lost anything.
No.
So you're basically saying, Judge, he made fun of me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
hey,
I just
he made fun of me, so you should make him pay. All right. Well, who lost something? And did CM Punk or Colt Cabana gain anything? Nope. So I mean,
and the funny thing about it is like he wasn't really like we knew who he was, but like we knew who he was. The Marks knew who the doctor was, but the average person didn't know who he was because he wasn't really named in the podcast. Like they didn't say his name.
no.
But I mean, it doesn't take a genius to find out who he is, but to the casual person, no one knew who he was. So I mean, it was a lose situation all the way through. I feel bad for Colt Cabana because I think that he suffered the most out of this whole thing, man. I mean, the the amount of money for defense and all that kind of stuff, and it it's just a shame, man.
Did you listen to his podcast this week?
I have not yet. I have not had an opportunity to do that, but I
So
am going to.
it was a good listen. So he recorded just a quick, couple minute clip every single day 1 through 8 of the trial. And he admitted, he said, I was shook up. And Colt Cabana's a stress-free dude. He said, yeah, me
Yeah.
and Punk were shook up. There was a day he was in trial and he said, I started feeling sick. I got headaches. I would pass out the minute I got home. So I was so tired. I felt just exhausted, stress, anxiety, headaches, sickness, just from the stress of court and going to court all those days. And he said, I didn't know if I was going to pay this guy $1 million. That Colt Cabana doesn't have $1 million to just throw out there, as far as we know. And he said they were on trial one day, and CM Punk started tearing up, just very emotional. Just I think we all know or could appreciate the court system, that it takes a long time. The case a little bit. So he did mention that one of the things in court that the doctor Amon said was, I didn't disclose, some stuff to other people about CM Punk because of HIPAA laws. I can't talk about certain things because of HIPAA laws. And Colt Cabana and CM Punk's lawyers were like, gotcha, jackpot. They go up to Dr. Amon, he's on the stand. Punk and Cabana's lawyers say, hey, so HIPAA's important to you? Yeah, it's real important to me. Okay, well, here we got a transcript of some text messages you sent to Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, or whoever the wrestlers were, saying, oh, yeah, this is what I gave CM Punk earlier. He has this injury.
Wow.
So explain to me what you think's important again?
Dude, and that's on the record, which I mean, he get his license taken away. I mean,
Yeah.
with that. So the only problem with HIPAA, and this is, I mean, I know this from experience, is that unless someone files a regulatory complaint, they themselves don't go out willy nilly to find people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So unless someone kind of brings it to their attention, he might go unscathed. But I mean, HIPAA, they're supposed to be taken seriously, man.
That's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, I mean, I remember at the very beginning of the case, Colt had started. He made mention of like some of the things that he was going through before he said that he wasn't going to be able to talk any more about it. He kind of gave us the heads up, and then through his podcast, you can tell that it just wasn't the same. My whole worry, to be honest with you, and I know this is kind of selfish, but I was worried about what exactly the outcome would have been for it, because if you think about it, this case could affect a lot of us podcasters in terms of how we say things and how we critique things, especially when it comes to the WWE and personalities that are on TV and stuff like that. So if this was ruled the other way, it's a good possibility that we would have been more under the gun, those who are more conscientious about what we say and what we critique about other people. So if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's part of the thing I was curious about, the whole thing listening to is I didn't know how this thing was gonna turn out. Maybe maybe they were gonna have to pay something just because. You know, what ended up happening is they wanted to sue for something like 30-40 million dollars in punitive damages, but there was no damages to punish him on. You can't
Yeah.
punish somebody for just, "Oh, I don't like you, you made fun of me." So that's ultimately what it boiled down to.
And and I mean, I'm not trying to extend this conversation as more it goes, but I mean, that kind of says a lot about our society, man. That the moment that we get butthurt about something, we automatically want to sue for money. Like sometimes you just got to grow a pair and just kind of be bigger than it, man. I'm just uh, I, I I don't know, man. I feel like everyone wants to have a payday. They hear or get something or they feel entitled and oh, I'm gonna sue this guy. I'm gonna get millions of dollars from him. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like make your own money, man, and be
Yeah,
happy. Don't
he's a doctor. He's got
yeah,
a great career path ahead of him.
exactly.
He's got the best
So
job in the world. Gets to travel with the WWE full time.
yeah,
People would
don't
kill to have that job.
just sour grapes all the way through, man. And last week I tried to have a show last week, and I actually did a full show last week, and my mic, I just everything went wrong. I didn't have the mic on. I used OBS, and it cut out halfway through, so the video podcast didn't go through. And one of the things that I reviewed was the Enzo Amore music video, and I
Oh
don't know if you
god.
had a chance to take a look at it.
Yeah, it was bad. To me, it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting much to be honest with you. I wasn't really expecting like a masterpiece on it. I will say in the first 5 seconds of the video, I was pretty pissed off. And I, I know I've hinted at it several times before, but I just when do the wrestlers and the talent like stop depicting fans as overweight 30 something year olds living in their parents' homes and not successful. Like I I don't get it, man. Like I truly don't get it. And it's like they firmly believe it. Like I don't know, man. It pisses me off, man. Like I know plenty of people who enjoy wrestling that are in their 30s and their mid 30s and are successful in life and don't live with their parents and probably haven't lived with their parents since they were 17. Like, I don't know, man. It irks me that they depict us that way
Yeah.
when we're not. Like, I almost feel as though they're trying to like knowingly push us away to stop liking wrestling so that they can just con the casuals and be happy for the rest of our lives. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that's kind of how I feel. I think they just need to stop it. Like all you wrestlers just got to stop it, man.
It really
Um,
is old, right? It's
it's
overdone.
it's old. I mean, we as fans can I mean, just in general, and it's not even about wrestling. You're a fan of something, you have the right to critique it. And and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, sometimes taking criticism helps you make a better product. Whether it's something that you watch on TV or whether it's something that you play on your phone or your tablet. Like criticism is great, and I understand the fact that there are a lot of people that, especially in the wrestling community, that are very toxic and very negative. Um, but you have to be above that, especially as a wrestler. You've got to be above it, and you got to stop hitting the hornet's nest and trying to group everyone together as something that they're not.
Yeah. I mean, if they're messing around, like, saying it as a joke still, but I think these cats get
I think
offended.
they seriously believe it. I don't think it's. I get what you're saying, but I honestly think that they seriously believe that. And if you look at the surface of things, like we're no different than Xavier and Kenny Omega. I mean, we play video games. We like wrestling. We're successful in what we do. Most of us have pretty decent jobs and are very well educated. Um, I just they just failed to acknowledge it, and it irks me, man. You're putting in for as toxic as some of the fans are about wrestling, and critiquing wrestling. Wrestlers give it back in the form of that type of disrespect, and I think because that goes on so much, you're making the problem worse than what it should be. Just as
Yeah.
much to blame.
And if any wrestlers are tuning into the show and you're watching the live version instead of the podcast version, and you see me sitting in my closet right now because I moved into a tiny apartment while this house is being built, I definitely fit the mold of a Mark that lives with his parents.
Bruh, you haven't been at your mom's house since you was like 16, bruh. Come on now.
It's been a long time. Yeah, I'm fitting the mold right now by sitting in this closet. Little do they know it's because I don't want to wake up kids.
Nah.
Yeah, that's great. I had something else I wanted to ask you, but I completely forgot about it. It'll come to me in a bit.
Yep.
It was outside the ring stuff. Oh, Warriors going to sweep the Cavs this weekend?
It's looking like it, man. I don't know. Hats off to the Warriors, man. I mean, they're consistently showing up. They play hard. Cavs just not. They're just not running on all cylinders, man. And it stinks. Honestly, I know that they were like the number 2 seed in the East, but I really kind of wished the Bucks would have faced them. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
they had a
switch it up a bit.
phenomenal.
Good defense.
Yeah, they would have had. They had a phenomenal season, and I think that they deserve to be there. And I think that it would have. I don't know, man. I love my Cavs, man. It's just there's always some type of internal issues going on within the organization, and it doesn't help that there's been a lot of political crap going on as well. I think that's just been kind of damaging sports in general.
You know what I was going to bring to you? Some hot-ish. Guess who approached San Antonio today about using the Alamo Dome?
Please tell me it was a football team.
It was a football team.
Oh man. Not
an NFL football team.
Like Major League Soccer?
No. The XFL.
Oh, seriously?
Approached San Antonio today about the use of the Alamo Dome. I think they just threw kind of a feeler out there today to see what the capacity is and all that. It is in the local newspaper. It is in the local news. It is on ESPN and all that good stuff. So San Antonio, old Texas, our home state, our home city.
Maybe I'd be down for that, man. I would be down for that. I know, actually, I already knew that, to be honest with you. I knew that before they made that announcement that San Antonio was one of the markets that we're going to.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that between Red McComb and I think that's his name, right? Red McComb?
Red McCombs and Tom.
Is it Holt?
No. And Peter Holt.
Peter Holt. I think it's Peter Holt and Jerry Jones. Between them two, they're kind of the reasons why we don't have a football team in San Antonio. They're trying to basically corner the market.
Of course.
But if Atlas Entertainment is able to get a football team here in San Antonio, I mean, I think that would do wonders, man. I think that would end up forcing the NFL to seriously consider putting a team here to combat that.
They can kill off the XFL market if the XFL grows.
They would have no choice but to do that, man. We should, you know what we should do, Goose? We should jump ahead of it, bro. We should put a a Kickstarter together to be owners of the
XFL team,
the new XFL team. I think that's what we need to do, and then what they could do is like towards maybe like the 4th or 5th year when the XFL starts to gain more momentum and the NFL wants to buy out the team, we go out like We go like what's his name from oh man, what's the name of that movie?
Give me some of the plot. Give me some of the
the
plot.
the one with the big check. He tries to take it to the big bank.
Blank check.
The blank check to the big bank. No, the $10,000 check to the big bank, bruh.
Happy Gilmore. No,
No, Will Ferrell. I was just singing that song last week or 2 weeks ago, man. Semi-pro. Yeah. So
that's
we,
right.
we we do like semi-pro, bro. We own the team and we play. We'll be the and then when they try to do the merger and everything, we try to get ourselves to go into the NFL. I think we can get that to work, bro.
No, I just want to be on commentary. If I'm on commentary, I'm going to be on commentary, and it'll be broadcast on live TV, opening day. Picture it. This is how it's going to go down. Me and you on commentary, getting a fat paycheck, and it's going to start off like, man, opening kickoff day. We got Oklahoma versus San Antonio. Man, it's great to see the XFL back again, but fuck it. What? Oop. All right. Nope. I'll let myself out. Thank you, security.
We can't say that.
And I'll get fired in a heartbeat for profanity on TV.
Probably.
Yep. And then I'll go do a song with old Enzo Amore, and I'll diss the XFL. How about that? Start off my rap career.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Those lyrics in that Enzo song were so trash.
It was, man. It was meant to be a statement.
For how good, like he kept saying, I ain't no Bill Cosby. Like, for how talented, it was bad to me because of how good he was on the mic in the WWE. So maybe he's better live doing stuff like on the fly rather than writing stuff down in advance. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's going to be doing this like as a career. I just think that this is a one-off situation where he did it to kind of tell what he feels his side of the story is. And it's important to know that he wasn't found innocent. It was just, and I'm not saying that he did or didn't do it. So I want to also preface that itself. It's just, they didn't have enough information to charge him or to take it to trial, or the person didn't cooperate or whatever the case might have been. So I'd preface that. That's why I don't press. That's why I'm not passing judgment one way or the other about the situation. Something could have happened. I mean, something happened, of course, but we don't know which way the wind blows. So I don't know. It is what it is, man. I don't think that he'll be in the E anytime soon. If we see him, I think it'll be 5, maybe 10 years, if that. If he still wrestles and keeps up with it. So,
yeah, very true. Very, very true. Let's get into the ring this week. I'm not gonna lie. During the move, didn't have cable. I had to watch the YouTube version of Raw last week, and this week I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown just because I was wrapping up the move.
Damn,
man. And I was trying to. What was I trying to do? I had a good reason to not watch it. It was a mix of the finals, finishing the move at least. You know what it was? I didn't get my cable really up and running until Tuesday, and I thought, all right, I got to watch Raw or SmackDown. Let me go with Raw. And
this man still has cable. He just don't learn.
No joke. No, yeah, that's a whole another story for another day. Why didn't I think it's because I think I was trying to catch up on NXT because I saw this awesome clip. Did you see
when Velveteen?
Yeah, you know where I'm going with it already, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
For you to flip like that and just stick it. Like, I thought when he did the flip, I was like, nah, he's going to kind of stumble over. No, he stuck it. And I'm like, man, that's the match that I'm looking forward to the most at NXT. We'll get into our review, in another
next
week. That's the match I'm looking the most forward to, just because I want to see, I want to see if Ricochet, I didn't watch him in Lucha Underground or anything. Haven't seen him in NXT yet. I just want to make sure he's not a spot monkey because I would hate to see somebody with all these great moves, but they just rely on spots. And then Velveteen Dream is just awesome in the ring. I just hope he doesn't lose another takeover because then I think he'll be 0-3 if I remember right.
Yeah, but
If you include a ladder match.
I think Velveteen's the exception to the rule when it comes to losing. He puts on some phenomenal matches, man. Like his ring psychology and his ring IQ is just so freaking far up there that you're more worried about the entertainment value than you are anything else. Like I remember back in the day, like there used to be wrestlers like that they lost the match, but we didn't care about their win-loss record. We just wanted to make sure that they had like a good match. Like Goldust was like that with the Razor Ramon, and
Oh, true.
and Razor was like that with 1-2-3 Kid. We didn't care that he lost all those matches. We cared that, hey, this is a great storyline. This is entertainment. This is interesting. We want more. And I think Velveteen has that same that
you got to have the over the top character part to it too, right?
Exactly. That's what it is. Like you're not worried about him winning. Like compare him and AJ. AJ, where we already know he puts on great matches, but we get upset when he loses. But the match is still fantastic. Like I remember when he was fighting and you were actually guilty of this, Goose.
Ellsworth.
Yeah. He was fighting Ellsworth and he kept losing week after week to Ellsworth, but you didn't really realize that it was pretty awesome until in hindsight, after, that concluded that, man, it's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting. It's something different that we haven't seen, but I think that we get so blindsided about win-loss records that sometimes we just don't see it for what it is, which is.
But you got to have it because we've talked before about Bray Wyatt as a great character, but he never wins ever. He never has the big payoff in a feud.
Yeah, but with Bray, I think Bray could be the exception to the rule as well, but his stories suck.
I guess it is repetitive. It's the same thing over and over, huh?
Yeah, it's
for somebody so talented.
Every single person he faces, it's rinse and repeat. And I think that we mask it as him losing all the time, but I don't think we would have a problem if it was really good, like it was a really good storyline as to the reason why he keeps losing. I just think that they keep dropping the ball on that aspect of it. And Velveteen he's lost, his last couple of takeovers.
I also want to say Velveteen's he's young too. He's 22, 23. So he's far from his prime as well.
This is true. But although he lost his matches for TakeOver, he still got Performer of the Year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Or Feud of the Year, wasn't it? At him and Aleister Black?
He got Feud and he got Performer of the Year.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Jeez. Yeah. Well, that's the reason I didn't watch SmackDown. So before we get into SmackDown, let's talk a little bit about Raw. Raw's pretty tough. I got to thank the DVR. I definitely speed through a lot. Granted, with DVR, 3 hours, it's really only maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that.
And only like 4 matches.
Yeah. So yeah. I will say I've been watching and interested in more of Raw lately, because I'll definitely watch an entire segment of Raw if it's some people I'm interested in at the time. I mean, I watch about 75 to 90% of Raw. I'll skip a couple of things here and there. This week, Rollins, and we got the token interference in the tag match. Teddy Long, I was thinking that when I was watching Raw. When Jinder came out, and was it him and Elias beating up Seth Rollins, I was thinking, man, Teddy Long should have made this tag match. He should have been like the special guest for our night, because that was typical. Roman and Rollins are fighting back. The faces are making a comeback. We should have had Teddy Long come out, because that was a straight Teddy Long move, wasn't it?
It was.
100%. But I do like that Elias and Jinder picked up the win. I definitely like that piece.
I definitely like that as well. As many wins as gender can get, I will always be a fan of that. I think that's one of the best things going for Raw. One of the one, and I'm saying that lightly. I got some other issues with it, but I'm gonna let you continue.
Well, I love it. I think so. Jinder, we've talked about before, is a true heel. He's not a cool heel like
Mm-mm.
maybe a Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, where he has some fans. No, he's a true heel, and Elias is too. Even though he gets the little pop during the songs and all that, but he is a heel. He cuts promos like a heel and everything. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were on the show as well this week, and I thought Sami Zayn's segment was kind of yeah. Yeah, it was a bit. It wasn't anybody. It wasn't his fault. It was just a boring segment, wasn't it?
It's not even Sammy's fault, man. It's Raw is doing. Is WWE like intentionally trying to sabotage Raw right now?
They got a contract. You get to chill once you get that contract.
I say this because Raw for the last, for the better half of 6 weeks, Raw has just been trash, like completely trash. They've got Bobby Roode still face, which is not working for him, and he's floundering. And unless they're going to turn him at Money in the Bank, like it's terrible, man. The same thing with Bobby Lashley. I don't know why Bobby Lashley is a face at all. He shouldn't be a face. He's better. He is a better person as a heel than he is a face, and they don't let him talk. They're relying on Sami Zayn to do all the talking for him, and it's making Sami Zayn stock go down. Nia Jax, like she's flip flopping between face and heel, and doing the same. Alexa Bliss was apparently right about what's going on with Nia Jax, and it's just mind boggling that I don't know what they're doing, bruh. I don't know what they're doing. And now Natalya is quote unquote like not going to be in the Money in the Bank match, and yet they've been building her up as like she's going to turn on Ronda. Like I don't know, man. Like I feel
she's another one that switches from heel and face left and right, ain't she?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but this goes beyond misdirection. Like I feel like they're winging it from week to week, and it's showing. Like it's completely showing. Like the only consistency that they've had, and it seems like whoever's writing the B team storyline, like that's the only thing that's been consistent and interesting to me throughout this entire segment. Like we get one good match or maybe two good matches, we get one good storyline, and that's it. The rest of Raw is just garbage, man. I can't help but to feel like they're consistently tanking Raw.
Yeah, I think, like I said, part of it is because it's 3 hours. It's just it's a lot of time to kill. I will say one of the most interesting things, I think this is new, maybe I've missed it, is Kurt Hawkins bringing out the tacos and saying, when I get this W, everybody gets tacos, and it's starting the "We Want Tacos" chants.
Cut that from Hulu.
They did. Yeah, he came out, cut a promo, and said, "Guess what? I'm 0 and 199. You're all lucky because when I get my first victory out of 200, I'm buying everybody tacos." And he came out with a big table full of tacos, and they introduced a jobber because they were in Houston this week.
Yeah,
and they said to the jobber,
"Wrong place for tacos, by the way."
Yeah,
wrong place for taco reference, by the way.
"Where you from, jobber?" And he said, "Right here in Houston, Texas." Local jobber. And they said, "What is your name?" My name is James Harden." The fans started cracking up. So meanwhile, James Harden was taking a whooping from Kurt Hawkins. Baron Corbin comes out, hits end of days on the jobber, and Kurt Hawkins the whole time is like, no, 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 stop, stop, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. So Kurt Hawkins loses to a jobber by DQ, and the fans are booing Corbin because they didn't get their tacos.
That's double, uh, yeah, trash. Just I gotta say it, man. If you're gonna make a taco reference in Texas, don't make it in Houston and don't make it in Dallas. You got it. It's anywhere from Austin, and anything south of Austin is taco country. Everything that's north is brisket and barbecue.
Yeah, we'll give him that. You can't get any better than South Texas tacos. The
That's
main
right.
event on Raw. Speaking of, well, you know, before we get into the main event, the B team is getting a tag team championship shot this weekend. What do you think about that? They won a pretty good tag team battle royal.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I really am, and I've been wanting to see Bo and Bray opposite each other for a
Interesting.
very, very long time.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I've been clamoring for it for a very, very long time, and we're finally going to be able to get it. I don't expect the B team to win, um, but I am excited about it. This is one of the storylines, the only storyline on Raw that I'm really actually into right now, and it's funny because they stole the formula from SmackDown. I mean, this is the same exact storyline for Rhino and Heath Slater on SmackDown.
Yeah, near
Um,
enough. A year ago, yeah.
yeah, and it's funny, like they're taking a lot of they're rehashing a lot of things from SmackDown to Raw. The whole camera angles behind stage and stuff like that actually came from SmackDown like a whole year ago before they actually started doing that on Raw. And it doesn't work, by the way. Even if you bring some of the same people from SmackDown to Raw, it doesn't work because the format for Raw is completely different than the format for SmackDown. It's
Just different.
just
Yeah. We
it's just
definitely agree
different,
it's
man.
different. So you're
It's
right. It's good to see. I hope the program, maybe if the B team wins this weekend, it leads to a pretty harsh program. Because I could imagine the B team going out and fighting for a rematch or defending the titles at the Hardy compound. Because the B team, those guys are so silly and over the top that it'd be a
they
really
actually
entertaining
dropped a
match.
reference on that. They dropped a reference on that they were gonna do some type of Apocalypto, which was like the ultimate deletion tag team version of it. So I
Mm.
think that that's where they're going to go with it eventually. I think that B team's going to lose, but they're going to lose in a way that they're going to try to bring all the tag teams in, and we're going to get an ultimate deletion for the tag team version, which I think will be amazing because we won't just get everybody involved that's on their main roster, but we'll also get like people that are either retired or even from different promotions coming in and making cameo appearances, which I think will be absolutely wonderful.
You think they'll go that route, like a tag team tournament, like they did in TNA?
I think so, man.
Not tournament, but a
I
big battle royal thing.
yeah, I think they'll do a whole big battle royal thing, and that would be pretty awesome. And you can hopefully we'll get somebody in the Lake of Resurrection and maybe like the revival. That would be kind of a conundrum, right? The revival being in the Lake of Reincarnation.
Yeah, it would be good. So, what did I miss on SmackDown this week? I
Everything,
heard there was a
man.
good match.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off by saying just like two things. Just off the cuff.
Cuff.
Yeah. SmackDown has been consistently, in my opinion, the best show. Like completely the best show. It's from like top to bottom. Like there is not one segment, whether it's the women's division, whether it's the mid carders, like they're doing everything right. We're getting more Thai. Like I haven't seen this
Oh
much.
wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen this much in Thai in the last 3 weeks than I had the entire year. Um, So they're really using everybody, and we don't see everyone week to week, which is also a pretty. I like that change. Like we don't see AJ and Knock in the main event. We see the tag teams one week, and we'll see the women's division the next week. Like they're changing things up. The format is completely different, and I absolutely love it. I see these changes, and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. The thing that I don't like is I don't I know, and I know this is the first iteration, and it's probably something you guys are going to hear me say quite often. I don't like the pay-per-view schedule. I don't. I hate it. I feel like it's just unnecessarily long. And although SmackDown has done a better job consistently with keeping the flow into the pay-per-views, or into this Money in the Bank, like
Mhm.
interesting, like Raw hasn't. And that's further proof for me that this whole combining things together is just not going to work.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, with that being said, um, we had the opening segment was Carmella. I absolutely love Carmella. I know that people are despising her and
Because she
her
can't go
title
in the ring
reign.
very well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you want in a heel.
Right.
I,
Okay, I could see that. I could see what you're saying there.
and I think she does it quite well to the point where people just don't want to see her. And I mean, that's she's doing her job. Like you don't see very many heels that get that kind of heat and get that type of annoyance, and she just brings it out. So I think that's pretty awesome. Um, so Carmella comes down the ring, and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville pop out, and they exchange back and forth. And it was pretty funny because I was like, man, they're kind of setting it up like they're going to have a 2-on-1 kind of thing with Asuka. I was like,
Oh,
man, that's
nice.
going to be pretty awesome if they do that, man. And lo and behold, they do. They have a 2-on-1 match with Asuka, and it was open the show, and it was flipping fantastic, man. Um, Asuka and Sonya Deville, sign me up, bro, because
Really?
their chemistry in the ring was flipping amazing, bro. Especially the way the match ended was amazing, bro. Sonya Deville speared the hell out of Asuka. It was great. They chain wrestled at the very end. Asuka was trying to go for the Asuka lock, and Sonya was doing the blocking MMA stuff, and bruh, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. As soon as the match ended and Asuka eventually beat both of them, I just checked social media to see like the reaction, and the overwhelming response is, yeah, we would love to see a one-on-one match between those two. The only thing that I will say is I rather them wait for Sonya Deville, like build her up a little bit more to be
Mhm.
more of a credible threat, build her character up a little bit more, maybe distance her a little bit from Mandy Rose, and then let's see them go at it again. I think that they there's something special there, man. There's really something special there. So, um, that was one thing. Then Becky and Charlotte had a match, which was pretty interesting because Becky tapped out Charlotte, which I
Oh.
wasn't
Oh, wow.
wasn't expecting that at all. She
Oh,
hit the
that's out of
disarmer
nowhere.
on her.
And how did the contract signing go?
Oh man, I couldn't describe it to you and give it justice, to be honest with you, because it was so great, bruh. It it was so great. Like that's all I can say, man. It was so great, man. Just the kind of highlights of it. They were actually backstage instead of in the ring
Oh,
with the
nice.
contract
Okay.
sign.
Switch it up a bit. I could dig
Yeah,
that.
switched it up a bit. AJ started to he basically led the promo. Um, when it came time for uh, uh, Shinsuke to sign the contract, he said that his pen didn't work and he threw it behind him, which was flipping great. He asked to see AJ's pen, and then he looks at it. He's like examining it to see if it's like a real trick, if it's a real pen or if it's a trick pen. And then he tosses it at AJ. AJ gets upset, and AJ just lays a slap right across Shinsuke's face, bruh. and it was amazing, bro.
Okay. I'll go back and check it out tonight.
It was
I
like
have
the
it
powder,
recorded.
bro. Like put that powder on, and he just like
Yeah.
whack. Absolutely loved it, man. And then they had to cart AJ away, and then Shinsuke just opens up his pocket, pulls out a pen, signs the contract, and takes off, bro. It was so amazing, bro.
That's good. That's
I'm,
different. I like that. I like that little backstage segment instead of the traditional in-ring thing and somebody going through a table, right?
dude, it's different, man. And I that's what I'm saying, man. Like SmackDown is, but SmackDown and 205 Live, whatever's happened to them in the last 6 weeks, like the changes have been amazing. Like it, I mean, that's the only word that I can come up with. It's not the old show that we remember like from a year ago, and it's consist like this flow of the program is just amazing. We're constantly getting something different every week. Um, SmackDown, like I said last week, or I said 2 weeks ago, man, Fox wins. Like they do.
Yeah,
Fox
yeah, easily.
Fox wins, man. Um, so and then the I guess the last big thing is the New Day. Still, we still don't know who the New Day is going to pick for the Money in the Bank. I think that's going to continue until Money in the Bank.
Oh,
I
of
think
course.
they're going to do something pretty crazy, which is fine. That match though closed the show. That match was like amazing, bro. Like everybody, all 6 men. It was a 6-man tag.
Mhm.
Uh,
Every the Money in the Bank
yeah,
competitors, the SmackDown Money in the Bank
yeah.
competitors.
So it was a SmackDown. It was everyone that was in the Money in the Bank
Okay.
match. So you had Samoa Joe, you had
The Miz.
Rusev, and then you had The Miz, and then you had the New Day. All three members of the New Day. That match was it was amazing, bro. It was nonstop. There were no rest holds at all, at all. Everybody was going. The flow was amazing, bro. And yo, Kofi Kingston is living life right now, man. Like
Yeah,
this
he
boy
is.
is living life right now, dude. Um, I think it was Samoa Joe. I want to say it was Samoa Joe had Big E or something in like a headlock or something like that in the middle of the ring, and Kofi was on the outside. He was on the apron on the outside, and he, how he tries to do the slingshot on the rope
Yeah.
to kind of, try to go on the rope to kind of break it up and stuff like that. Well, instead, like he acts like he's going to do that, and then he just like falls back to do a trust fall right on top of no. Joe was on the outside, so it was somebody else. So he does a trust fall outside the ring, bro. But you've got to see it, man, because it was like an optical illusion. Like I didn't notice how great it was until like I had to watch it like 3 times. It's like, what the hell? And you can see like as soon as he lands it, Kofi's feet goes up. Like all you see in the outside is just
Jeez.
his feet up in the air, bro. I'm like, yo, Kofi's the man. You got to go see it, man. Like that match was, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you didn't see that match, you guys got to go see that match. That match was just completely amazing, man.
Okay.
Um,
I'll check that out and the contract signing tonight before I pass out.
yeah, you'll enjoy it, man. But overall, SmackDown, I mean, I stand by it. Like how I say, I think they book great. I think that they give everyone that's on that roster something to do when they're there. We don't get an overexposure to to the main guys on there, which I absolutely love. The only critique that I have, and it's not even a SmackDown thing, is that I really think that with this new format that they would have benefited more with the pay-per-views being split like they used to be. But that's that's just me, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. You mentioned earlier you wanted to talk about something this week that had to do with something legal. You said, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, we already talked about it, man. That was the Enzo thing.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm slowly becoming a fan of the split. I'm just curious of how once the split happens next year, how awesome it's going to be or how it could be at the joint pay-per-views, only because we may have truly 100% somewhat separate shows, because we talked about it before. If Raw has Roman Reigns, they're not going to want to give up a him or a John Cena or a Brock to SmackDown. Um,
or Seth
USA isn't going to
Rollins.
want to. Yeah, they're not going to want to lose their money makers, people who bring in ad revenue to a competitor channel or anything. So I'm curious if they're truly going to just be two separate brands from here on out. So that'll be, if that's the case for a couple of years, I think that, and they don't have the merge or the brand, what is it, the brand swap that they do after 2 weeks after WrestleMania?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't even think that having a brand split or a draft, I should say, is even
The shakeup.
yeah, I don't think it's really necessary, man.
Yeah, there's
Um,
almost no point. Almost no
yeah,
point in having it. You could keep them separate. Before we wrap up, I got to ask: the CM Punk win on Saturday?
yeah. Um, I think so. I think he has to win. I know that the guy that he's fighting is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's just as inexperienced. I think this is like, I think he's 0-2 as well, or 0-1 or 0-2. So
Yeah.
I think that they cherry picked this one. So I think Punk has a better chance of beating him than he did Mickey Gall.
So the guy that he's fighting this weekend, he's 0-1. He lost to Mickey Gall in 45 seconds, and CM Punk lost in just under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it will.
It's gonna be a little
Yeah,
crapshoot, bro.
yeah. I mean, it could be
I'll be
really
watching.
bad. Yeah, so
Yeah,
am I. I
UFC
think.
ain't getting my money. I'm just gonna say that. I'll be watching it live, but they ain't getting my money.
Yeah, I it's well, I'll be living the life at the beach this weekend, so I'm gonna try to watch it if I can. But I don't know if I'll have time. It'll be uh, fun. We'll just say that the rest of the UFC card this weekend is actually pretty good. So it'll be a fun day. I'll just say that. Just say
Yeah,
that.
for sure, man. Congratulations to Misha Tate, bringing a new one into the world. She had her baby, I believe, on Sunday or Monday.
Nice.
Baby girl, and she's adorable. So y'all go check out. Y'all wish her and her boyfriend, fiance, forgot his name, but
Nah, I don't remember it either.
y'all go wish them congratulations and speedy recovery. So, um,
Yes.
with that
Yes.
being said, I did, before we close the show. E3 is this week, and I'll definitely do my best to do some live reaction and coverages during the conferences for the next week. So you guys hopefully look for that. And I just want to see if you were interested in, like, if you were interested in anything coming out, or I know that you don't follow it as much as I do and stuff, but just curious to see if you anything that you are looking forward to
I
from
am.
E3 this year.
So there's a couple things, and I follow it on the sly. There's I pick 3 or 4 games that I've never heard of every year and try to follow those, and then just my routine games. When is E3 actually? Is it next week, or has it been? It hasn't been going on this week, has it?
So the doors open Saturday. So the pre shows and stuff like that happen Saturday. We won't see, like, we'll see people there, and you go IGN or YouTube, and you'll be able to see like live feeds and things like that. But the actual conferences don't start until Sunday. I believe Sunday's conference is Bethesda, and then Monday Sony, Tuesday Xbox, and then Wednesday will be Nintendo. Xbox and PlayStation may be separate, or maybe in reverse. And then E3 is somewhere in between those three. So I'll get the full schedule and put them up. But I think that that's usually how it
Yeah.
runs.
I think I'm not looking forward too much to any Xbox One reveals or anything, and I don't think Xbox or PlayStation are going to have any next gen reveals or anything. But I'm interested in Dead by Daylight updates that are going to be shown. Call of Duty Zombies is being shown. I think a trailer or a new, well, for sure a new game mode. Um, Jason Blundell, the creator of Zombies, in the I think it's the Treyarch mold, the team that does Black Ops. They are doing some information reveal this weekend. There's actually a futuristic game. I forget the name of it. Called
Cyberpunk 2077 or the Kojima one?
the one with Daryl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Kojima. I believe that one's called something Stranding. Stranding.
The
Uh,
Stranding? No, it's
some. It's Stranding. Something Stranding.
so
Um,
it's a futuristic sci-fi, right?
yeah. So it's the one where they had the babies in the little cocoons, and you've got the something coming out of the water. Um,
And Daryl from The Walking Dead is the main guy. I know that.
yeah. There's like three big stars. Death Stranding is what it's called.
Yes, so I'm looking for more information on that. They actually, I think, released a trailer on it. I think last year. So this game's been in the making for a long time.
Yeah, it's I think this is like the fourth year that it's been in production. We had like this year Sony has promised that Kojima is giving us like an actual gameplay of the game. So we're definitely getting that. So that's definitely good because I'm tired of the teasers, but I'm like you. That's in my top three of what I want to see. I'm also looking forward to Anthem, which seems to be kind of a cross between uh, it's kind of a cross between Titanfall
Hmm.
and uh, what's the other?
S-
Uh,
uh, S- Skyrim?
no, oh god, what is that name? I have that game too. Um, I can't think of it, but uh, dude, it's gonna piss me off because I have the game and I don't remember what the hell that it's called though. Um, but it looks good, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's open world. And it's I know the big thing right now is like battle royale, so
Yeah.
it's probably gonna have that element to it too. 100 man battles and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah. The
that.
new
So
Call of Duty is going to have it.
yeah, I haven't played a first person shooter in forever, dude.
Nah, yeah, yeah. I played Call of Duty for a little bit last year and then I put it down for big Dead by Daylight guy. Another thing, there was something else I was really interested in. I'm sure it'll come to me later. I can't figure it out now. But I always catch one or two sleeper games out there. I pay a lot of attention to some of the more independent stuff these days because I need to find. Oh, Fallout might. They had a reveal trailer last week, so there may be some new Fallout information this weekend.
It's like
But
a
yeah,
Fallout 76 or something like that.
yes, and I've never played Fallout, but from what I hear, I actually have Fallout, the last one that just came out, that I'm gonna hop on sometime next week, hopefully. Sometime this summer. Nice, get some solo action game. So yeah, that
And
was about it. That's all really all I'm looking forward to at E3 this year.
I heard that the PlayStation is probably going to be debuting something around their new console for the PlayStation 5. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Xbox said that they're not going to or something like they're not going to be updating or new hardware consoles or something like that. So I don't know how that's going to go.
No time soon.
Um, no, or anytime soon. Yeah, which I'm a fan of. Like I'm tired of buying consoles, man. Like
Same here.
I don't think I would have ever thought that I would ever say that, but I feel like I just bought the PlayStation 4 and they're already talking about the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And as I, I bought an Xbox because Goose, you're an
Yes, sir.
Xbox guy.
Yes, sir.
Um, and I figured I'd try my hand on it. I haven't been disappointed. That's the one thing I can say about that. But in the 10 or 12 years that I've been a PlayStation fan, this is the only PlayStation that I have been disappointed in.
Yeah, they
Um,
don't have a lot of straight console releases anymore these days either.
no, not at all. I mean, most of the games that are there are games that are on Xbox, and I have to come up to a decision on whether I want to buy it for Xbox or whether I want to buy it for PlayStation, and that's kind of to me a bit disheartening. I think I had like maybe one RPG that I actually played aside from Final Fantasy 14, which I don't think that counts.
No, no, no.
Um, but I think I've only played one RPG on PlayStation that was only exclusive to PlayStation, which I think it was 1872, and I absolutely loved that game. Although I'll bet it was short. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought that would be getting more, but to me, it's just been a big disappointment. And to hear that they're going to do a PlayStation 5, I think I'm at the point in my life that I'm like, PlayStation ain't getting any more of my money. They better max out PlayStation 4 because they ain't getting my PlayStation 5 money.
Yeah. And well, I'm done buying first gen consoles because all of mine screw up and I got to get a crappy refurbished one. So now I'm going to wait for next gen consoles. I always buy them
Yeah.
first gen and they always mess up real bad. Or they just get old real fast. Fan gets all loud, whatever the case may be. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe I'll
E3
do
coming
that.
at you.
I
Yeah,
mean
just
that.
skip first gen for 3, 4 years.
Yeah, man. Because like, I take the PlayStation 4 for instance. Like, I think when I bought it the following year, they came out with like the S, which has
Yeah.
the virtual
And
reality stuff, and I'm like, what the hell?
the next gen systems don't know how to, they don't even come close to fully maximizing their capabilities. Oh, I mean, think about it. PS4 and Xbox now are just now maximizing everything they could do. And they've been out forever.
Have we adopted VR yet? Like, I mean, I know the technology is out there for both consoles, but as gamers, have we truly embraced it, or is it just a fad,
No,
or was it just a fad?
it's a fad. Resident Evil, their last game was uh, with the intent to be VR heavy, and it it's just not there yet. I don't know if it'll
So,
ever take off.
why do you think it's not there? Because I'm of the mindset too that like it's not appealing to me. And I don't know whether or not it's because like the barrier to enter was so high, or what. But what is it that you feel like is contributing to it being a fad and not the
People
norm?
don't people don't want to move. When you sit down and play video games, it's cool to see. I think the cool thing about VR is that it's 1 inch away from your face, and you can't see outside. You can't see your kitchen, your dog, your cat, your brother, your sister. But when people are playing games, think about a first person shooter. If somebody's behind you, you don't want to have to use the 1 second it takes to turn your body around to shoot somebody. Or if you're playing Fortnite, huge game, you don't want to have to physically move your body.
So, yeah, the whole point of VR is to kind of feel as though you're actually in the game, right? That's the whole point about it. And I agree with your point exactly. I think that the VR that we need is not something that's for health reasons, something that we'll ever get to in our lifetime. I think I don't know. I watched this anime called Sword Art Online, and it's kind of um, the same premise. Like their VR version is basically putting in like you basically put a visor over your head, and it puts you into a hypersleep, and you're actually submersed in the world. And I think that that's what we really when we come to that type of technology where it's safe to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I think that that's where we would truly embrace VR. The scary part about it, which is pretty funny because Black Mirror had an episode on this, is that you don't want to get a situation where you're trapped in that world and you never wake up.
Oh,
So,
yeah, ain't about that life.
yeah, man. I love the real world. I mean, I love the virtual world, but I love the real world just a little bit more, man.
Yeah, virtual world's a nice escape. So do we have shout outs this week?
You know what, man?
I didn't
I
think
don't
we
know
did.
about you, man, but I'm of the mindset now going at this point going forward that we only shout out our Patreons.
Good call.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
plus we've already so many people are we've given shout outs to most of them already.
yeah. Unless they live in the chat, I think that'd be the only exception. But going forward, I think, and if you're okay with it, of course.
Yeah. Well, because
I
we actively talk to anybody who talks to us. You do a lot more of it than I do, but we actively talk to anybody who talks to us on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure.
So instead of getting shout outs, you should get the direct interaction.
Exactly. And you're supposed to help us grow anyway. So, why are we gonna give you shout outs if you ain't helping us growing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel you. Definitely feel you on that. So we had a good week. Again, everybody, thank you for listening this week with us being out. We had a little hiatus, technical difficulties with the move, had a lot going on this past couple weeks. Warriors in 4, maybe 5 if they're lucky, unfortunately. Good NBA offseason. Hey, look for us on Twitter. It's easy to find us on any podcast app you have. It's Real Wrestling. Just type it in, you'll find us. Hit us up, type in, make this easy on you so you don't have to remember our ats. Just type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast. You'll see us on Twitter. Sage Mark is going to be providing some information on E3, just his thoughts, a couple tweets here and there, some retweets. Ben Goosen, not hard to find on Twitter either. But hit us up. Just IRWP, It's Real Wrestling Podcast Twitter feed is the easiest way to get in touch with us. Hit us up anytime. I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. That's your boy. Say it the way I need to hear it.
Sage the Mark.
We out. Hey, it's your boy Ben Goosen. The thoughts and opinions are that of the host and not of the IRWP. Hey, we're not hard to find. IRWP.us. You'll find all of our contact information. Making it easy on you again. Go to Twitter. Just type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast. DM us. Add us. Retweet our tweets. Hit us up anytime. We do respond to all of them. Just want to say thank you for listening. Keep it real.